Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. I am Dr. Ritu Kapoor and I like discussing some interesting technical concepts with you. This time I am back with a much trending topic, generative AI. And I'll discuss some basics about it and also explain how it's different from ML and AI, which have already been there for decades. Through this series of videos, we shall also dive down into the fundamentals of large language models and word embeddings, which form the basis of these concepts. So, without further ado, let's start with it. So, what is generative AI or GenAI or GAI as it is called in different forms? And how is it different from AI and machine learning? So, generative AI is basically an AI that can generate new content for you. So, the content can be of different forms. It can be in the form of text, code, images, PPT, etc. So, now this content can be created when you ask a Gen AI application such as ChatGPT. If you ask it various questions, let's say you ask it to prepare a PPT on generative AI, right? So it will give you a PPT. If you ask it to prepare a script for, let's say, a lecture on generative AI, it will give you a script in the form of text. If you ask it to, let's say, create a code to, let's say, do a bubble sort or let's say to find out a maximum number from a list of numbers, it will generate code for you and so on. So we can ask AI to do different tasks for us, and that is what is called generative AI over here. But the innovative part or the new part in generative AI is now it can do or it can create some new content for you. So that is why this new content part is actually unique over here. So we'll dive deeper into it as we go through the video. But how actually is this content created? So this new content is created using some generative models which are trained based on some existing information. Now these are actually very scientific terms which are related to machine learning and AI, and most of the new beginners who have not studied the concepts of machine learning and AI might not be understanding the keywords that I'm using right now, but I am going to discuss the fundamentals related to machine learning and AI also in this series of mine. So please stay tuned. So coming back to what a chat GPT can do, yes, it can do a lot of tasks for us. Maybe if I, let's say, want a diet plan, I can even ask it to create a diet plan for me, and that too for, let's say, different kind of food items are consumed. Okay, so let's say I want a vegetarian diet plan, I can ask it to create a vegetarian diet plan for me. And so we'll discuss more about what ChatGPT can do. But before that, what is AI, what is machine learning, and how is it different from Gen AI? So, AI or artificial intelligence is actually a discipline or subject which is made up of theory, and some algorithms. Okay, so algorithms are basically some, you can say, certain way of doing a particular thing, right? So, it has theory and certain algorithms that lead to development of computer systems capable of performing intelligent tasks. So, using these algorithms, we can actually create a system, an expert system, or basically a machine which replicates an expert, and that expert can do particular task for us. Now there are different algorithms uh, that have been created to do certain kind of tasks. Okay, so we'll not go into those details for now, but artificial intelligence is specifically a discipline or subject, and it deals with building machines that think and act like humans. What is machine learning then? So, machine learning is a subfield of AI. So, you can say ML or machine learning is a subset of AI, which actually comprises of system or program that trains a model using an algorithm and some input data. So it has a certain program or certain lines of code using which you can train a model, using which you can actually create an intelligent system that can learn from certain data. So it can learn from certain patterns that you show to this model or to this machine, and then it can help you to identify similar kind of data. Okay, so basically you can use it to do your task. How you can use it, we'll go there. So the trained model can then make predictions on any unknown data, because now it has the knowledge, it has learned from the data that you showed it, right? And now it can help you to make predictions or help you to classify the new data you show it, the new item that you show it, which is similar to a previous kind of item that you showed it earlier. Okay, so we can make machine learn on known data to identify unknown data. Let's come to an example over here. So, for example, we want to train a machine to identify an apple. Remember, this is not Gen AI that we are talking about right now. This is simple machine learning problem. Okay, we want to train a machine to identify an apple. So, what will we do over here? We will show it all these kinds of apples, and we will tell it in the training phase when we are making the machine learn. We will tell it that, okay, learn that this is an apple. Okay, learn this is an apple, this is an apple, this is an apple, this is an apple. And remember, these all figures go one by one to the machine, and you cannot show this kind of image because it has a collection of apples. So the machine is really dumb, it will get confused that, okay, what is this also the same kind of this thing? So yes, obviously there are a lot of differences in texture, in color. So yes, the machine will get confused, and it will lead to a wrong learning, leading to a wrong prediction in future. Okay, so you have to make sure that you make it learn individual apples one by one. So that was a very naive example, but yes, that's how you make a machine learn. And then let's say in future you come up with a very similar red apple, it should be able to tell you, yes, this is an apple. And also see, for this kind of, so this is a classical image learning problem, because we are showing different images and then we are asking it to identify a similar kind of image. Okay, so what will happen, let's say if you show it a green apple, so it's most likely that so it may happen that it detects it to be an apple, or it also gives it as not an apple. So that is why when you are training, you have to train using various diverse kind of images. So if you want it to detect only red apples, then it is fine. But if you want it to detect green apples as well, you have to use various green, yellow shade apple images in the training phase as well. Okay, coming back to generative AI. So Gen AI models, or the models, so this was a classical machine learning model that we talked about. So what will be the model? The model is basically, once you have trained the machine using this all training data, this is all training data, right? So once you have trained the machine using this all training data and an intelligent machine learning algorithm, you form a model which comprises this entire knowledge that the machine has learned. Okay, using that model, then in future you can ask it about a new kind of image which you did not show in training, and you can ask that, okay, is it an apple or is it not an apple? So it is basically a classification problem, right? Either this image is an apple or it is not an apple. So a binary classification, right? Two classes. So coming back to, this was a classical machine learning model. Now what is different in a generative AI or generative AI model or gen model? So gen models are machine learning models that learn the patterns and structure of their input training data to generate new data having similar characteristics or parts of existing information on internet. What I mean to say over here is that it's not necessary that the new information that is generated by this model existed in the entire form. It may happen that it existed in parts on internet, but the complete form may or may not exist on internet. So that in that manner it creates some new content for you. Okay. Now, example could be Gen AI can create realistic images of faces, animals, or landscapes that do not exist in real life, or write original text based on a given topic or style. For example, a diet plan which might not be existing on internet has been solely created for you based on the different, so the machine could see what are different breakfast options, vegetarian breakfast options on internet, right? And using that information, maybe it created different breakfast alternatives for you in the diet plan. So that is in a very naive example of how it might be using different parts of existing information to create a new information. So it has various applications in content creation, data synthesis, problem solving, and so on. Let's come to some more examples of Gen AI. So Google Translate is a very good example of generative AI. So over here, if you see Google Translate interface, most of you might have seen, we typically use it to translate text from one language to another. It detects the language of the text, whatever you write over here, and you have different options to convert it into some other language. This has been used in by most of us when maybe we are traveling to a particular country, and let's say there is some text written somewhere, we are not able to identify what is it written, and we are not able to understand it. We can convert it into our language. Or let's say when we are, trying to, let's say I read an article online that it contains some text which I was not able to identify what it means, so I can use Google Translate. Or also to convey whatever I want to communicate to a person in a different language, I can use Google Translate. Then Apple Siri, it is used to perform different daily tasks. For example, I can use Siri to set my alarm. I can use Siri to place a phone call on speaker, and so on, right? So these, they are also example of some, you can say, agents or some experts which are working on your behalf, which are able to take your instructions and execute them. Then ChatGPT, Google Bard, Google Gemini are various examples of Gen AI query response based systems, where you enter a query and you get a response. And this query can be an intelligent question which you might be asking to seek support in some context, or to gather some new information, or let's say to learn about a new topic, and so on. Amazon Alexa is another example. Then text completion when writing emails or messages. You might have observed that when you're writing an email, some text is recommended, right? Or when you're trying to search on Google search engine, it tries to complete the text based on what you might be trying to write, right? So it tries to give you some kind of suggestions that maybe you're trying to find this. Then Google Lens to identify a real world item. Sometimes we want to identify, okay, where have I seen this picture, or what this picture means. You can use Google Lens to find out that. Voice translation, you can, let's say you are in a foreign country and you want to, let's say, communicate to a German person that who only understands German by using your own Hindi language or English language. Then you can use voice translation, wherein you can speak in your own language and ask the application to respond back in German, and that German prompt or response can be heard by the person, and you can communicate. So these are various examples of Gen AI. Let's see in what ways we can use ChatGPT nowadays. So we'll just to help you get started with ChatGPT, or to see how innovatively you can use ChatGPT for different things. So for example, let's say I want to create content of a PPT on generative AI. So I asked ChatGPT, can you write the contents for a PPT on Gen AI for me? So it gives you slide by slide the contents. Okay, then you can also ask it to elaborate on any kind of things you want. So you can also ask in the next question, you can ask, can you please elaborate, or can you please write some content on exploring Gen AI, and it will give you different responses for it. Okay, so basically you can create the entire PPT for you. Also, in the advanced versions or paid versions of ChatGPT, it's possible to get the entire PPT from it, right? So in the paid versions from ChatGPT, or I think in Microsoft Copilot, it's possible to get the PPT itself. Coming to the diet plan example I was discussing, so this is the kind of response it generates. So I gave it a specific query. So very important here is the skill to give specific queries. Okay, so if imagine I just gave it a query that can you generate a diet plan for me, and it will just give a random diet plan. So instead, what I've given over here is, can you generate a diet plan for me as per a vegetarian 3-time meal? So it will give you different options, as you can see over here, in the form of breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So it's very, very important what you ask and how you ask to these intelligent agents, what I call. Then this is an example of Microsoft Copilot, as you can see. So I have asked it that, okay, I have an educational channel, Ritu Kapoor Classes, where I post videos related to computer science engineering concepts, and I've not posted a video for long. So can you suggest some interesting topics that are trending nowadays? So it gives responses such as quantum computing, zero trust security, IoT, etc. Coming back to ChatGPT again, because I use it really often, you can use it for code generation and modification. So for example, in the first screenshot over here, you can see that I've asked it to generate Python code to read contents of an Excel file and print it on screen. Now in the second screenshot, I asked it to modify its response by reading the Excel file by looking into a directory or folder for it. So if you see over here, it has done what? It has included, it has modified the first code by adding an iteration thing over here. So a for loop is added to iterate into the directory and see where the Excel file is. Once it is located, then it is read and it is printed on the screen. Coming to another example for code debugging, which is a very, you can say, useful application. So you can often use ChatGPT to rectify your code. So I used the previous code only, but what I did was I removed this iteration part from here. So I said that, okay, can you check this code? It has some problem. Can you try rectify it? So if you see, I have given the directory path, and instead of reading the Excel file, I'm reading the directory path into it. So instead, what should have been done? I should have given as input over here the Excel file path. So as you can see, it has rectified it very easily. What it did was it iterated into the directory, checked where the Excel file is, and if the Excel file is located, then it gave the Excel file path as input into the read Excel function, and then it read the file and printed it for me. So that's how we use ChatGPT for a start. Most of the programmers use. So do get started with ChatGPT and other GenAI applications available to support your daily work tasks. Do comment and let me know how you use or plan to use GenAI applications to support your work. And stay tuned to learn more about the fundamentals of GenAI, AI, and machine learning in the coming videos. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified for these new videos. Thank you.